Hello, readers. Day 12 is a little different. Today, instead of a story, we're reading a philosophical essay, a piece of writing that explores big questions. The question today is one humans have asked for thousands of years. What makes a good life? There are no wrong answers here, just honest thinking. Before we begin, 3 words to know. Fulfillment means a deep sense of satisfaction, the feeling that your life is complete and meaningful. Perspective means your personal point of view, the way you see things based on your experiences. And meaningful means something that has real purpose and importance. Okay, let's think together. For thousands of years, philosophers, poets, and ordinary people have asked the same question. What makes a good life? The ancient Greeks believed the answer was something they called Eudaimonia, a Greek word often translated as happiness, but which really means human flourishing. Not pleasure, not comfort, flourishing, the full expression of your potential as a human being. Aristotle, one of the greatest thinkers who ever lived, said a good life requires 3 things: good values, meaningful activity, and deep relationships. He believed you cannot have a truly good life by sitting alone in comfort. You must engage with the world. You must do things that matter. You must love and be loved. The ancient Stoic philosophers disagreed slightly. They said a good life is not about what happens to you, it is about how you respond to what happens. A wealthy person who is anxious and fearful does not live well. A poor person who is calm, purposeful, and content may live beautifully. According to the Stoics, the good life is about mastering your own mind. Centuries later, the philosopher John Stuart Mill offered a different answer. He said a good life is one with more pleasure than pain, but not just physical pleasure. He said there are higher pleasures, the pleasure of learning, of creating, of loving, of contributing to others. He famously said, "It is better to be Socrates dissatisfied than a fool satisfied." In other words, a rich inner life matters more than simple comfort. Modern psychology has given us new tools to explore this ancient question. In one of the most famous studies ever conducted, Harvard researchers followed the lives of hundreds of men for over 80 years. They tracked their health, their careers, their relationships, and their happiness. The finding was simple and powerful. Good relationships keep us happier and healthier, period. Not wealth, not fame, not success. Relationships. People who had warm, close connections with others lived longer, stayed healthier, and reported greater life satisfaction. People who were lonely, even if wealthy or famous, suffered more.
But relationships alone aren't the full picture. Psychologist Viktor Frankl survived the Nazi concentration camps during World War II. He observed that people who had a sense of purpose, even in the most terrible conditions, survived better than those who had lost all meaning. He wrote, "Those who have a why to live can bear almost any how. Meaning keeps us alive. Purpose gives us direction." So when we combine these great thinkers, a picture begins to emerge. A good life seems to involve, first, purpose, having something to work toward, a reason to get up in the morning, a contribution to make. Second, connection, people to love and be loved by. Not many people necessarily, but true, deep connections. Third, growth. Learning, becoming, expanding. The feeling that you are not the same person you were a year ago. Fourth, presence. The ability to actually experience your life, not just rush through it while looking at screens. But here is the beautiful complexity. Different people flourish in different ways. An artist's good life looks different from a teacher's good life, which looks different from a farmer's good life. Culture, personality, and circumstance shape what flourishing means for each of us.
Perhaps the wisest answer is also the simplest. A good life is a life that feels worth living to the person living it. One where you look back with more gratitude than regret. One where you gave more than you took. Not a perfect life, not an easy life, but a real one. Lived with intention, love, and enough courage to become who you were meant to be. So here is your question for today. What does a good life look like to you? Beautiful question, yes. Fulfillment means a deep sense of satisfaction. Perspective means your personal point of view. Meaningful means having real importance or purpose. Leave a comment. What does a good life mean to you? I'd love to read your thoughts. Next time, I will take you to Asia for a wisdom tale about bamboo. See you tomorrow.